Among the crags and the canyons of the Cairn Hills, where the wind carries the scent of slag and ash, is the rough and tumble town of Diamond Lake. It's the kind of place where people struggle to leave if they're lucky and endure if they're not. Indeed, it's here in Diamond Lake where a young wizard named Ozeric and a handful of unlikely companions discovered a hidden entrance to an ancient tomb, descending by torchlight into the darkness of the Whispering Cairn. Their story began with the timeless quest for fame, fortune, but it has since turned the page to a dreadful conspiracy of prophecy and doom. For during their explorations within the ancient Cairn, Ozeric and his companions discovered a history that led them along an unexpected and fateful path. Guided in part by the wild scholarship of a dwarven bard named Vamrid, the party learned of the great Vati warriors, the Winddukes of Akka, champions of law who stood against the dread Queen of Chaos, whose demonic legions threatened to unravel the very fabric of creation. In the great battle on these fabled fields of Perched, you learned 7 of the greatest Windduke warriors employed a powerful weapon, the Rod of Law, to strike down the Queen's demonic consort. The deed was done, chaos was broken, but the rod was shattered. Its 7 parts were scattered across the plains and passed into legend as the Rod of 7 Parts, one of the most storied artifacts in all of history. Many warriors were lost at Perched, and one of them, as legend told, was laid to rest in a hidden hillside cairn above Diamond Lake, in a tomb that slept undisturbed for centuries, until now. In a secret chamber inside the Whispering Cairn, Ozeric's companions found the true resting place of a Windduke lord, Zozael. Upon the walls of his tomb, carved in the stone of ages, was a depiction of his final stand, and of the horned demonic figure that destroyed him, wielding a weapon unlike any other, the Sphere of Annihilation, a hole in the very continuity of the multiverse, devouring everything that it touched. Relics and riches were discovered as well, to be sure, but their discovery was not without cost. One of the party's own, Candor, cleric of Heronius, brave and faithful to the last, lay dead. And yet the Cairn led the party to a darker revelation. In their adventures, Ozeric and his companions confronted the necromancer Filge, who revealed evidence of a nefarious conspiracy to usher in a dark prophecy, a new age of destruction, an age of decay, an age when the dead do not rest and the living do not linger, an age of worms. The necromancer spoke of a connection between this prophecy and the Dourstone Mine, whose deep shafts had broken through into something buried far beneath Diamond Lake, something that had waited there in silence for a very, very long time. The conspiracy had a name, the Ebon Triad, and it had a harbinger, a single green worm preserved in a glass container. The worm now sits on the desk of Ozeric's mentor, Allustan, wizard of Diamond Lake, who has spent a fortnight in contemplation, attempting to determine what it means and what must be done. And we will carry forth this story in due course. But first, we must turn to the not too terribly distant past, to the haunting melody of a familiar song. Briley, you hear the soft voice of your mother singing a song from your youth. A quiet song, wordless and warm, without a beginning, needing no end. Her voice is soothing and safe, swaddling you in a warm melodic embrace. Until that night, your mother's singing guided you, protected you. It brought you peace. It cast out darkness, doubt, and fear. But now abruptly her song goes silent, and you feel alone in the darkness. Then voices, stern voices of men, followed by rough laughter. The noise of wooden crates smashed and belongings strewn by hands with no right to touch them. Through the tall grass beside the weary roadway, you see your parents' lifeless bodies fall. Standing above them, bandits, ravenous in their greed, highwaymen with ill intent. Your gasping breath betrays you as one of them turns. A milky left eye, pale as dead fish, finds you in the dark. He smiles a toothless grin. He reaches for you, and on the back of his hand, you see it, a small tattoo. His fingers close around your arm. Briley. You feel yourself being shaken awake from this dream. You're no longer a child. You are you. A hand on your shoulder, firm but familiar. Your sister, Vana. Briley, what is it? Are you okay? You were sobbing in your sleep.
Sorry, just a nightmare. I'm fine. Really, we should go back to bed.
Is it that same one?
It's always the same one.
I'm so sorry.
It's been 12 years. You think it'd leave me alone by now?
Someday, maybe. When things are made right.
How much further do we have to go in the morning?
Just a few more miles. To the way station. That's what we were contracted for. Go back to sleep. I'll keep watch.
Thank you.
You drift back to sleep, and you know that these dreams are not random. Not on this trip, not on this job. You've been hired to escort merchants. They seem like reasonable folk, not any different than the jobs you've been hired for in the past as a ranger of the Cairn Hills to help people and cargo get from one point to another across the wilderness. You've done that job with dedication, following the code of your mentor, Ulfire, a code that has guided you and your sister, Vana. There's a man amongst this group, the trigger, perhaps, of this vivid dream that you now struggle to recover your slumber from. A milky eye, a tattoo of what you caught, a black hand upon his left hand. But eventually rest comes to you. In the morning, the sun shines, bringing you to your senses. The servants of the merchant guild members loading their supplies, checking to make sure things are secure upon the carts. You see the man. It would be so easy.
Riley's hand, I think, tightens around her bow as she stands off to the side watching as the merchants load up, watching for danger, for animals, or anything that might take this opportunity when everyone's back is turned. And she considers it for a moment, just like she has at every other break along the road for the past 2 days. But I think finally turns and grabs Vana by the arm and pulls her off to the side.
What is it? Are you prepared? Are you ready? We leave in moments. What is it?
One of the servants is one of the bandits. He has the same tattoo. I've seen it in my dreams. I thought it was the right one, but I wasn't sure until I saw it in the dream again. I mean, it could be my mind filling in blanks, but I'm certain he's one of them.
Which one? That one there? You see the man picking up a crate and fastening it with rope to the wagon. He is so much different now as you gaze upon him. Hunched, old, downtrodden. Certainly the years have not been good to this man.
Yeah, he's older, but it's him.
The bastard. Are you going to be okay? I mean...
It's taken everything I've had not to nudge him off of a ledge as we've traversed the hills. He needs to pay for what he did.
But vengeance is not justice. As much as it pains you, and I can see it in your eyes, I know your story, What should we do? I will stand with you. I do not mean to betray Ulfire's oath, but I do not mean to betray you either. You're my sister.
I am on a knife's edge, and I need you to convince me that justice and vengeance cannot go hand in hand. Why can't they stand side by side?
Father put his trust in us to take this job, to get these people safely to where they need to go, as we've done before. The oath that we've taken, to the road I give my feet, to the wild I give my eyes. Those in my charge I give my life. Gladly and without reservation. Justice, vengeance, no. Justice is performed in the open. It is done in a place of reckoning so that all can see the shame and the crime can be exposed. Vengeance hides in the darkness and brings closure, but at such a cost. It only satisfies one, whereas justice... And she's having a hard time convincing you in her mind, because she's struggling right now. You can see it as well. Justice is done in the light.
What do you think I should do?
I can't decide for you, Briley. Father will know. Whatever decision is made, I know what he would say. You must decide.
Looks like the wagons are ready. I'll have at least half a day to decide before we reach the waypoint.
I'll get out front. It's time. Sister, she reaches and clasps her hand. You are good. Don't let them change that. And she walks away.
The rest of the day, I think, is a long walk for Briley. A couple of miles is nothing. I mean, her and Ulfire and Vanna would hike for months at a time before heading back to Elmshire, but today it feels far longer than it should. And there are times, I think, when she's tempted, where it would be so easy and it would look like an accident.
Absolutely. There are multiple opportunities along this route. It is through the rugged Cairn hills. There are canyons to the side, scree slopes of crumbling rock. Occasionally, even the beasts of burden pulling the carts grow scared of the terrain, but their drivers push them on. And there's a moment when the old man is on the side of the road. He looks over at you sort of with a grimace, not knowing who you are, not remembering. And in that disregard of memory, you feel this sense of rage, perhaps fighting to surface. If you were to do this thing, now would be the time.
She stares at him, fists clenching tight, hand almost reaching for the quiver at her hip. And she hears a whistle from the front of the train, from her sister, calling out that the waypoint is just ahead. And as she looks up and sees the encampment up ahead, I think the realization sets in that she felt torn this entire time, but she never really was. The vows from Ulfire that she's taken as a ranger have been playing almost subliminally over and over and over again underneath this rage, underneath this indecisiveness. She realizes in this moment that it doesn't matter who this man is, that it's not her job to met out justice. It's her job to get him to the waypoint. And I think that's what she does.
A moment of significance for Briley, without a doubt, as you fulfill your oath, maintain the trust that's been placed in you by your mentor, Ulfire, Vanna's father, your adopted father. And you do your job. And this moment is carried with you as the story continues. With that, we will transition to the next part of our story. Ozeric, you find yourself called to the home of your mentor, the powerful wizard Allustan. Ushered forth, you now sit in the wizard's library. Maybe the second time you've been in the library. The scent of candle wax and parchment complemented by the aroma of pipeweed, as this rather impressive man, I would say, to a young apprentice type such as yourself, blows this massive smoke ring into the air as he sits contemplating whatever it is that powerful wizards contemplate when they sit alone in their study. As you enter, your raven familiar Bertrand alights from your shoulder to find a perch amongst the cluttered bookshelves. And as you sit, a desk between you and Allustan, there is a pewter box that sits open on the desk. This is a box that you would recognize, as it was recovered by your companions in the Whispering Cairn in the moments when they uncovered the secrets of the true tomb of Zoziel. Not too long after the unfortunate but heroic death of Candor. You peer at it and you see within it a talisman, dull and black. Aside from this, the only thing that really vies for your attention is a figure that sits silently in the shadows behind Allustan a bit. Your host has not introduced her and doesn't appear to intend to. He looks at you as you come in, and as he looks at his pipe and searches for a bag of leaf. The relics that you and your companions have recovered are indeed valuable, Ozeric. The secrets of the Whispering Cairn have been revealed.
Yeah, okay. What are those? What kind of secrets?
Well, this here, and he gestures over to the side, and you can see that there is this silver circlet, a diadem, that was taken from, recovered, I should say, from the tomb by your companions. It has a glyph upon the front of it, a small adornment to an otherwise elegant, though simple circlet. This is indeed quite magical. A boon, as it were, to one's wisdom. Provide with insights of the ages, I should imagine. This here, and he turns to the pewter box. This. Have you heard of the Spheres of Annihilation?
Only in passing, Master.
This is a tool used to wield them. It is constructed of a very strange adamantine alloy. Look upon this. And he reaches over and pulls a candle close to it, and you can see the black metal of this. It's kind of like it's a loop with a metal handle to it. I kind of think of like the Hyalai, cesta that they use to throw the balls. And as he brings the candle close, you can see that it begins to highlight this green sheen across the surface of this otherwise black metal. And as he pulls it away, the candle away, it becomes black again. Do you know the ways of the magical light, Ozeric? Can you cast the light spell?
No, Master. That's not one I have.
Oh my. Well, let me see here. He gets up and he walks over to a bookshelf and he says, well, any self-respecting wizard should be able to cast light. And he reaches, here we are. And he pulls out a scroll and he unravels it, blows it off, and all this dust goes right into your face. Oh, sorry, lad. Yes, indeed. And this will be important to you. Commit it to memory. Make sure you transcribe it into your spell book. He rolls it back up and hands it to you.
Thank you, Master. Yes, of course.
He recites a quick couple of words, snaps his finger, and he has a light in his palm. And as he brings the magical radiance close to this artifact, this talisman, you can see that there is this purple-white glow to it. Yes. Only some strange deposits in the Underdark of the Drow can bring forth this level of quality ore, often found in meteorites. This is quite important. It is a valuable artifact, but it is one that you must keep. Do not sell it, is what I'm trying to say, Ozeric. One must always be prepared, as it were.
Do you think I would have some use for this artifact?
Well, I have found in my adventures that when something is uncovered, there is a reason for it. Perhaps that is true in some cases. Perhaps not, but... well, I am no seer. But I would keep it close.
Yes, Master.
Now, this business of the Dourstone Mine troubles me greatly. You have revealed to me this conspiracy, and I have contemplated it much. Ragnall Dourstone is a shrewd, if not cruel, owner. But to be involved with something as despicable as a doom cult troubles me greatly. I had thought perhaps that you and your companions would investigate, but now I am concerned that if you were to explore the mine, perhaps there would be things that we are not prepared for. As such, I have contemplated this specimen greatly, and he reaches over and pulls forward this sample jar with this motionless green worm in it. Yes, we need to know more before we send anyone in or start throwing accusations around about Ragnall.
I'm with you there, Master. If I never see another underground cave, it'll be too soon for me.
Too soon indeed. There is someone that I know to the south that could be of help in this matter. A powerful and capable magic user named Marzena. She and I have corresponded as of late, and there have been some mentions of wriggling worms in some of her dispatches to us. Blackwall Keep is where they are stationed, amongst the members of the garrison, under the command of a man named Garm. A harsh, though, well, just man. If you are willing, I would endeavor to send you there, to the south, to Blackwall Keep, to make contact with Marzena and identify if there's something that we should know about this green worm. Bring Marzena back to Diamond Lake so that we may take counsel, come up with a plan to address whatever it is that lies beneath the Dourstone Mine. Can you do this for me, Ozeric?
I think in this moment, Ozeric is pausing a little longer than he normally does to answer his master, because he's thinking of the past 2 weeks, and he can't get the picture of Candor's corpse out of his mind. Even though he was the one who dug his grave and put him in it after the ceremony was over, he's done that countless times over the years. He's never known any of the people that he's put in the ground, especially not fought with them and watched them die. And so he's been having a rough time and probably having a hard time keeping his shit together here in Allustan's study. But he's also thinking that he's of two minds. He wants to never adventure again, but also he wants to make sure that Candor's death wasn't in vain. He feels a responsibility to see this through, but he's also scared shitless that Candor's fate awaits anybody else that he accompanies, and maybe himself. But he looks at his master and he looks over his shoulder at whoever's sitting there, and where he might have said something to his master, he's not comfortable saying anything in front of strangers that he doesn't know yet. So he'll take a deep breath and look at Master Allustan and say, well, like I said, Master, it's not underground, so this sounds doable, of course.
I would not ask you to do this alone, Ozeric. Know that I do not intend to put you in any harms, but you are needed, and you are capable. You have learned much, and I would call upon a good friend here. And he turns to Briley, who is sitting in the shadows. A skilled and capable guide of the Cairn Hills, an apprentice to a dear friend, that I would have them go with you as your guide.
Riley, pleasure.
It's a pleasure for me as well.
That's good, Master, because I haven't been able to get a hold of any of the others. Vambert's been drinking since we got back, and my other friends, well, I think they're all dealing with what happened in their own way, and
yes,
I think some fresh faces would be good.
Yes, I pray that your friends will find their way and join you, but for now we must act quickly.
Yes, Master.
Briley will guide you to the south. You are in good hands. Marzena should be willing, if you relay the information that you have learned, Ozeric, of this conspiracy to help us, she owes me a favor anyways.
Of course, Master.
Now, given your destination, the garrison commander, Trask, has seen fit to supply an envoy of his choosing. A young man of noble bloodline. He looks down at a piece of paper. Aderon of Eoben, Natranar, and Elderman before him. Honorable men and natives of these lands. He is to accompany you to check upon the status of the keep. And there is a matter of a missing patrol that they are investigating, apparently. But let that not distract the task at hand, Ozeric. Yes, go ahead.
Is he Heronian?
He is, I believe.
That is good.
So you will do this then?
Yes, Master.
Very well. Supply yourselves as best you can. Spare no expense. You must travel fast. There is a waypoint, a day's journey, Shank's Rest. There should be space for you to stay there. And without any troubles, you should arrive at Blackwall Keep the day next.
Well,
Be safe.
I'll be glad to have your guidance, Briley. I've made it to the Cairn Hills, and that's about as far as I've made it from Diamond Lake, so...
Well, there are passes through to Blackwall. I've made this journey before.
It's good to know.
You are in good hands, Ozeric. And you have Bertrand to keep an eye on you.
Lucky me. Mm-hmm. I am most fortunate in so many ways. I should count my blessings. Yeah.
Well, perhaps wait to count them upon your return.
Indeed, Master.
Very well. Leave as soon as you can. The garrison envoy will meet you.
Master Allustan, I know I mentioned this before, but what should I do if that Kellic approaches me again?
The Seeker. Reveal little, if anything, to them of this conspiracy. My thought is that they know more than they let on about what's happening here. Whether they are a part of it or seeking to profit from it, I know not, but... While you're gone, I will try to figure out what the Seeker's role is with all of this. Perhaps they can yet be allies, though they often act with their own interests before all else.
Yes, Master.
All right, then. Very well. I have things to do. You have things to do. Good luck. Briley, bring him back alive.
I will do everything in my power to do so. And she'll give him a bit of a nod and follow Ozeric out. And as the door shuts, the tense energy that was in her shoulders kind of lets out a little bit with a breath, and she side glances towards Ozeric.
You see Ozeric also breathing a little sigh of relief now that he's at Allustan's presence.
When it comes to wards, the only thing worse than a merchant unused to the rigors of the road is a wizard with too much curiosity. Please don't make my job more difficult than it has to be.
Trust me, my curiosity's been tempered.
Right, then gather up supplies. I guess we'll find the rest of your compatriots. We'll make the road soon, I hope.
Yes, let's do.
So as you two prepare yourselves to depart, we will transition over to the next part of our story here. Aderon, it has been another long day, and another long day is nearly done. The last beams of sunlight stretch long and amber across your modest farmstead, catching the tops of the fence posts, glinting off the freshly harvested field, and warming the worn wood of the home that you and your wife have made, with iron will and hard work, into something worth protecting. Inside, the smell of the evening meal still lingers. A lamp burns low on the table. On the wall, the restored shield of your grandfather, Adenar, catches the last of the hearthlight, as it has every evening since you hung it there. Eoben carried it before you, Adenar before him. Honorable men, natives of these lands, served Diamond Lake as Free City militiamen and asked nothing in return but the life that they earned. And you have asked for nothing less and nothing more than peace and safety with your wife and your child. From the back of the house, you can hear your daughter, Nisa, her small voice talking to no one in particular, the way children do when the day is winding down. Sleep is not yet won. And your expectant wife, Erin, moves nearby. She does not look at you yet, but she knows you. She has known you long enough to understand when something sits behind your eyes unsaid. And something is the news of your assignment weighs heavy. The life you've built for your daughter, your wife, that you've built together, the child that stirs in her womb, perhaps a son, all of these things sort of flashing in your mind as you sit at the dinner table. Just you, your wife, 2 steaming cups of tea. Come, Aderon, I know that face. Sit with me and unburden yourself of whatever weighty news you've carried into our home.
Aderon paces, kind of near the hearth, his eyes locked for a moment just out the window, kind of the golden sunset. In his hands, one of the many, many dried flowers that Nisa has picked and left littered about the cottage floor.
Listen, Aaron. I know the timing isn't great. But
he kind of shuffles over and pulls out the chair and finally sits down and looks her square in the eyes.
Well, you know I'd do anything for you, for Nisa, for our expected child. And
of course.
I want to make sure you are taken care of, and I've taken an assignment. I won't be gone long, Aaron. It's a small trip, just helping escort a small group of travelers. The command, well, they really offered it to anybody, but they're offering a bonus. And I want to make sure we can cover the cost of the doulas, everything we need for the little one.
Aderon, we have everything that we need. I know that this is important to you, but I want you to be taken care of.
I will be safe, Aaron. I've trained for this many years. It's a simple trip, and I won't be alone. I'm told they are capable travelers, able to defend themselves as well. Really, honestly, it's more of like a messenger. They want to reestablish ties with Blackwall Keep.
If it's about the money, my father can provide. It's not. You don't have to leave now. Not now. She kind of puts her hands on her stomach.
I think seeing her do that, I instinctively reach out one of my hands across the table to
She takes
take
it.
her hand.
She reaches and takes yours and squeezes it.
I know I'm a stubborn man. You know how I feel. Your family has done so much for us. I'm simple. I am low of means, not like your family. I want desperately to provide. Listen, if after this we still have want or need, yes, I will go speak with your father. I will ask him for extra. Of course. But let me do this one thing. Let me provide. I mean, already, I feel like I owe your brother more than I can repay
You
for
owe
helping me get
nothing.
my position.
You are everything. You have done everything. You are a good man, an honorable man with nothing to prove. You're a good father. But I know how important this is to you. We will manage here.
It's the stubborn blood of my forefathers, you know.
Oh, I do.
There's a little bit of pride. I understand it. But I want Nisa, boy or girl, it doesn't matter, a second child, I want them to be proud as I am proud of my fathers. I want them to be proud of theirs.
And they will be.
Just remember, the short sword is under the bed. I know nothing will happen, but use it if you need it. Remember, your brother isn't far either. Send for him if you don't feel safe. Things have not been as normal lately.
We'll be okay. I know how to handle a sword. She pulls herself up as a woman who is long into her pregnancy would do from the chair, and walks around to the side of the table that you're sitting at and puts an arm around your shoulders, and you can feel the presence of your unborn child. Don't let that stubbornness or your bravery get you into trouble, Aderon. You promise me you come back. You promise me.
He squeezes her arm, puts his other hand on her stomach to feel the child.
Of course, my love. I promise you, nothing will stop me from returning. Nothing will stop me from coming back. And I'll bring something good for Nisa too. Something to keep her entertained so she stops harassing Shani the donkey. You know how she loves to do that. Maybe I'll be able to get another animal. Blackwall Keep might have some.
At the sound of her name, you hear a little voice. Daddy? And she comes out, kind of rubbing her eyes a little bit. Daddy, are you going somewhere?
Who's that? Who's this grown woman who just entered our house?
Don't be silly, Daddy. I'm your daughter, Nisa.
Nisa, I hardly recognize you. You must have grown a foot since I've been gone. This morning. What have you been eating? I think so. I kind of measure a hand to her and then kind of like at like her eye level and then kind of like raise it. Yes, at least 6 inches, at least.
Are you going somewhere?
Of course, Nisa. Daddy's gonna go on a small adventure.
Can you take me with?
Well, here's the deal. And I kind of kneel down next to her and I grasp both of her hands and I put the little dried flower right behind her ear, tuck it there.
Well, you see, Mother, she is due any day now. And even though she has the sword, under the bed, it's going to be hard for her to use. But remember, you've been learning the dagger, right? With Papa out in the yard.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I pull the dagger out of my hilt.
I'm going to give this to you. You need to keep Mother safe while I'm gone. Can you do that?
Yes, sir. Yes, I can.
Just like Father, You are now going to protect Mother like I protect the town.
Do you think I'll be able to join the garrison someday and defend everyone?
Probably as soon as I get back, if you keep growing as quickly as you are, no doubt. But remember, even though you're protecting Mother, you still need to do all of your chores. And I kind of boop her on the nose.
Daddy. And Aaron looks down and says, all of your chores and back to sleep, young warrior. Back to sleep now. Kiss your father.
I kiss her and send her off to bed. In that moment, I stand back up, the sunlight now diminished to just kind of an orange glow, and my eyes kind of take in the sheen of my shield. I know I need to leave here within the hour. And I kind of think to the legacy of my forefathers, to my grandfather, to his valiant maneuver. The shield still has a rend down the middle of it that's been kind of riveted closed, our faded family crest upon it, where my grandfather took a claymore, took his arm off with the shield, but the honor it brought for our family, even as just peasants, really. I kind of look at and take it in, and then my eyes drift back to Aaron, who I kiss sweetly.
I will gather my things. You two should get rest, Aaron. We must make sure the child is healthy.
Of course. Don't be too late, okay? She kisses you on the top of the head and takes the empty tea mugs and sets them aside and disappears into the sleeping area.
As she leaves, I don my chainmail shirt. I kind of open up a trunk near the door and don my chainmail shirt and put on my belt with my long sword, and then finally walk over to the mantle where I stoke the fire a little bit to make sure it will last a little bit longer through the night so they're not cold in their beds. And then I hoist the shield up above the hearth, down and onto my arm.
Erroneous, watch over the family. Bless the child. May they come without issue. And I would give my life that they be safe. Thank you. Many blessings to your name, Erroneous.
And then turning for the door, I kind of take one last glance towards my bedchamber where Aaron is laying down, and nod and head out into the late evening, walking down that muddy trail, one hand brushing the tall grass near the home, another one gliding along the fence post as I have a love and affection for this honestly quite pitiful little farmstead, but it is my family's, and it is home. And I make my way to the village.
On to the garrison, where you will prepare yourself for the coming journey. And with that, we will transition into the next part of our story. Stone, you sit in a modest room that smells of poultice and lamp oil, a space that you've converted into a makeshift infirmary of sorts, blessed by Bledred to serve the rugged miners of Diamond Lake and their families should they fall ill or become injured in their work. One such miner, a fella named Tatter Grolt, sits on a stool as you examine a mending leg that you've been helping him with. His injuries tell a tale of dangers that the miners face in Diamond Lake, the conditions of the workers not being of the highest quality, in some sense being taken advantage of at the benefit of the owners of the mines, the classic tale of the working class, all too often thrown aside when their usefulness has come to an end. But Tatter is a stubborn man, and you see a bit of maybe yourself in him, or something that is worth acknowledging. He's proud but apologetic for the inconvenience of his leg, right? It's causing an inconvenience to his coworkers, to his boss, Balabar Smank, his family. He's determined to get back to the job because he needs to earn that money so he can feed his family once again. You've seen it dozens of times in your short stay in Diamond Lake. Chances are that you'll see it again. He looks at you and says, "It's feeling pretty good. I think I'm all ready to get back to it. What do you think, Stone?"
Well, let me take a look as I kind of bend down and will tenderly inspect the leg before looking up at him from my lower position and giving it a hearty squeeze.
Oh, easy there.
Might not be as ready as you wish, but give it a little hard pat. Well enough to let you back to the mines, though. Have you been drinking that tea I gave you?
Every day.
With the cough.
Top of the morning, every day.
All right. Well enough then. You'll probably make the way back in, though. Watch yourself. Watch the others.
Smank will be happy to see me back on the work. There's been talk of letting go of some of the folks that aren't producing like they used to. Me in their stead. I desire to be useful again. Thank you. With your help, I will return to the job. Provide for my family.
Do still be careful. It may act up once again.
Well,
best have your life over the coin if necessary.
Well, life is worth little with no coin to provide. But I catch your meaning, sir. And to be fair, it could be worse. I could work for the Dourstone Mine. Things don't seem right over there, if you catch my meaning.
No. That not a great, very safe place at the moment, though.
And strange folk coming and going. Not miners, mind you. Not locals. Strange folk.
Folk entering the Dourstone.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know where they come from or who they are, but new workers, I suppose. I imagine Ragnarlin, as the innovative dwarf that he is, has plenty of pools of workers to draw upon. I believe he's connected with Graysmere, is he not?
Believe he is.
Well, far be it from me to cast judgment upon anyone in their operation of their own business, but I'm just going to be happy to be back to it. Thank you, Stone.
Of course. Watch yourself, watch the others, and hopefully you won't need to come back to me.
He reaches out a hand to shake yours. And then he says, "Oh, and I almost forgot, the missus sent this along." And he reaches down in a little basket that he was carrying, and he pulls out a small bundle wrapped in homespun cloth. And it's some biscuits, homemade from scratch, for you. Let's just say the missus is happy to see my virility returning, if you catch my drift.
I have been interested in figuring out her secret ingredients, so I might have to... maybe you can find that for me and pass it along.
Well, we'll see. The missus is not too open about some of the ingredients, but I'll see what I can do. In the meantime, thank you. And he gets up from his seated position and walks towards the door. And as you kind of turn to watch him leave the small little infirmary that you've put together, you see a broad silhouette standing in the doorway as Duluk Blitzhane steps into the room. dwarf that you know very well from Graysmere, a dignitary of Graysmere and the leader of the delegation, what's considered or called the Graysmere Convent here in Diamond Lake. He's old, even among the dwarves, but trusted, well-respected. He's slightly stooped, curved of shoulders, but he's a proud man, and you know that he carries himself with an air of purpose. He looks upon you with these piercing green eyes, the green eyes that are a characteristic of those from Graysmere, from the southern Cairn Hills. It's time, old friend, for you to return to Graysmere. An important message must be taken to Fionar and the council.
But I mean, there's still so much to do here.
Aye, but do not forget your purpose here, my friend. Yes, you have helped many of the people here, and that is well appreciated amongst them. But you are here on behalf of the Graysmere, and I, too, serve them.
Well, if it is to be, then I shall answer.
I will say but a little of this message, and he pulls out a sealed scroll that has the seal of Graysmere on it. Pretty simple symbol of a hammer, sealed in wax. I have, as you know, spent many years here in Diamond Lake, observing, building relationships, cataloging the ores, the exploration, studying the maps of the garrison, cartographers. Graysmere has an interest here, as you know, but it has changed in recent years. Our friend, Ragnarlin Dourstone, has proven to be less aligned with Graysmere than we would like. Corruption, perhaps. Compromised, perhaps. I heard what old Tatter mentioned to you, the strange folk. Well, they are strange indeed, horned men. I have not seen them myself, but I have been told devils. Perhaps the reach of the Overlord, Evid V of Nalex, has indeed reached as far as the Great Kingdom and on here to the Cairn Hills. Their influence stretches beyond their Great Kingdom indeed. Whispers of something referred to as the Ebon Triad. We intend to continue to pry, to investigate, but it is important now that we send you on back to Graysmere with this message. Fiona and the council will know how to approach this, but if Dourstone is exposed, then we must be ready to take what is Graysmere. The Dourstone Mine should not fall along with him.
Well, if it is such that importance, I think those here shall be fine without me for a time. Though that is a bit of a journey south.
Aye, and not without its dangers. There is a traveling party departing on the morrow that I would like you to accompany, at least as far as I've been told Blackwall Keep at the northern edge of the Mistmarsh. You should join them for the first leg of your journey, and then head west along the marsh to Marsh Keep and then on to Graysmere. But it will be safer to travel with companions. The wizard has some business to the south. What that is none of our concern. What concerns us most is that this message reaches Graysmere without delay, without detour.
Right. Can be well enough done. I do hope this wizard of some import, a bit of security.
I believe there is a member of the garrison heading with them. And as I've been told, a ranger. He will be safe as far as can be in these parts. As for Diamond Lake, well, the sooner that this Dourstone situation is addressed, the better. Well, I have many meetings to attend to today, Stone, but if you need anything, gather it together. The traveling party leaves tomorrow, and I expect you to be with them, my friend.
Thank you much for the advanced warning. I shall see this closed up, maybe prepared, pass on some information, and shall be ready yet for the morrow.
You will return to Diamond Lake, and we will keep this space well for you. Good luck. And he reaches out to give you that forearm handshake that's so iconic as he bids you goodbye and leaves. Another patient comes in to see you, and that is where we will transition in our story, finding ourselves as a party of sorts with the missions of various types and a journey ahead of us. But I think now is a great time for us to take a break. And when we come back, we will dive into the adventure of Ozeric and the Fellowship as they head south. So we are going to go ahead and enter back into the story, my friends, as we find our 4 companions departing from Diamond Lake with various goals and motivations in play. And what I would like to do as we dive back into the story is to just go around the table and get a sense of 2 things. What's kind of going on in your mind right now in terms of what lies before you, whatever that may be. And then also give us a little bit of flavor of like, what do we see in your character's description as they're sort of walking down these rugged roadways. And just for sort of paint the environmental picture, these are cart paths that can be used to transport materials on carts and wagons, of course, but it's rugged, it's rocky. You're moving through this really rugged mountainous terrain, descending to the south towards the Mistmarsh, 2 days from Diamond Lake. So as we embark on the first day, let's go around the table and let's go ahead and start with, let's start with Aderon.
Yeah, so Aderon is maybe in his young 30s, and he well built, tall, strong, from both farming and then also being a militiaman. So he dons chainmail and a sort of cowl that has the garrison colors, whatever those might be. Other than that, I mean, he looks the part of a militiaman. Though as he walks, he has a backpack on. You know, most of his supplies on his back. Even though we have a wagon, he's very much used to some field work he's done in the past, where you just carry everything on yourself. And I think at this moment, he walks beside the cart, kind of tugging along. He's removed the gauntlet on his left hand and is allowing his hand to kind of brush through the tall grasses on the side. I think internally he's a bit torn. Of course, he hates being away from home and his family and the farm and the duties there, and feels even maybe perhaps a little bit of guilt for being excited to be out in the field, out traveling in the beauty in this land. He doesn't often get to leave his station, and kind of the mundane routine can drag on. And so there's like this excitement. There is this like, even though he wants to return home safe, he also longs to prove himself to basically his ancestors, to his father and his forefathers. And so there's a part of him that wonders and maybe even hopes a little bit, again, to his inner turmoil or guilt for making a name for himself and for his family, like his forefathers.
Great, thank you for that. Let's jump over to Stone.
Stone's been walking kind of along and been keeping a very close eye on the others, though will seem to stop to pause as this middle-aged dwarven gentleman has his long beard kind of braided in with ringlets through his dark beard that kind of pop out with some brightly colored metals and some darker ones, a iron goat on a chain kind of popping out through, as he kind of keeps an eye on the party and on occasion it almost seems like he's strolling, hands behind his back as he watches the others, maybe a notebook quick taken out and a quick note, more seemingly interested in the party here than keeping an eye on the road. I assume that the others are the ones keeping the most lookout. Every now and then reaching back and kind of tapping his backpack, double check that it's still with him. But otherwise, odd. Is more a stroll than it is a march to Blackwall.
Okay, thank you. We'll move over to Briley next.
Briley, I think, is taking up the rear, and we see her stepping sure-footed, used to this rough road, walking along kind of the center strip between the wagon wheel ruts. Greens and browns, kind of a scaled leather armor, worn and used, but well taken care of. Kind of the story of past conflicts strewn across it in various nicks and scratches and marks that were a little too deep to buff out, but overall still very functional and well taken care of. She's walking with her eyes up, watching the hills, alert, going through her mind the logistics of the day. This party, she's uncertain about it. There's a wizard's apprentice, which never bodes well. And the militia is a welcome addition to a traveling party like this. A little bit more help on combat. And the cleric looks like they might be able to handle themselves, but still an untested party. Unsure. And as she's kind of running through these logistics, she's speaking aloud to anybody who's listening. It's a full day to our waypoint. We should try and get there before dark, which means not too many rests today. It's a well-worn path. Merchants take it all the time, but it can still be dangerous. So please don't fall off the edge.
Important advice.
Just don't die a dumb death, please.
You've traveled this trail many times.
I have, all across the Cairn Hills, mostly kind of stationed out from Elmshire, but I've made this trek before. This particular road is a little steeper than some, but we do have an established pass all the way to Blackwall. So provided that we don't run into any bandits or wolves or anything else of the sort, you should have an easy enough trek.
That's good to hear.
All right. Well, with that, let's bump over quickly to Ozeric, and then we'll come back to the conversation amongst the party.
Ozeric is striding along, sure-footed along the path. His stride belying his build. He looks taller than he is. He's a rail thin young man. He's barely 18, with pale skin, a port wine stain on his right side of his face, where his black hair sort of lankly falls over one side, and he is looking around, missing the mirth that he usually shared with his companions. Unbeknownst to this group, last night he went to the inn where one of his adventuring companions is working off the damage done by her baby owlbear to her place of business, which is why she's not here with him today, and probably had one of the first heart-to-hearts that he's had in his life, maybe since he was a child. And his best friend, his bodyguard, Goldie, was there for him to cry on, basically, and let out all the emotions that he's been holding in for the past 2 weeks. And with that sort of fresh start, he got up this morning, checked his pack, and decided it's better than the mines, and headed out with this group unknown to him, looking at them sort of sidelong, sort of sizing them up, and hopeful of what the day will bring.
The road from Diamond Lake is, this sort of narrow cart path at times, as Briley warned, dangerous drops to certain death, if not severe injury, treacherous passes, uncompromising canyons, potential for rock slides and washouts. The hills, as you look out there, wind-swept, dun-colored. There are bunch grasses growing alongside the roadway and up the scree slopes. Large boulders piled where they have been either moved or have fallen and set in place. Junipers and thorn brakes, sort of scraggly trees kind of emerge from the side of a place that seems unlikely that they would even grow, because there's very little soil or organic matter for them to catch purchase in, but yet they send their root systems in between the cracks of the rocks themselves and seem to almost grow out of the rocks. There's a gentle breeze that blows up the canyons, occasional gusts, but not violent. As you look up and you can see that there are these large kettles of carrion birds, vultures perhaps, circling high in the air on these massive kettles of uplifting and updrafting air. It's a beautiful day for a travel. And there you are, the four of you walking along.
I think Bertrand is probably flying up above and maybe messing with the buzzards when he gets a moment, because he probably finds us boring. At some point, as everybody sort of watches them fly away, I look over at towards Aderon. So, are you with the Heronian garrison? Is that my understanding?
Yes, that's correct. They sent me to accompany you and also to reconnect with the Blackwall Keep.
Did you know Candor?
Candor. Did I know Candor?
I would say, why don't we do a roll? Let's get a roll.
Okay.
This is going to be just a luck roll. It's going to be a simple D20. Anything above a 10, you would know of him. The higher, the more you would know him.
That is a 2.
Okay. So you don't know the name.
I've not heard of him. Garrison has many men in many different divisions and patrols, so we don't always cross paths.
Okay. He was a cleric of Verona. He accompanied us on our last foray into the Cairn Hills, and well, he didn't make it back.
I'm sorry to hear that. That's unfortunate. How did he pass?
In a terrible. I'd rather not talk about it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to pry. Honestly, I just.
No, it's fine. You seem to have been in your business some time. Have you ever lost a companion?
I've lost many, yes. Not many recently, but from time to time in patrol, running against bandits and things like that. It's common.
Okay, I guess your training prepares you for some of that.
I think life prepares you for some of that.
I mean, it's strange. I tend the boneyard. I see corpses day in and day out, but I've never seen somebody die in front of me. It's a bit different when it's someone you know. I walked down the streets the past 2 weeks expecting to see Candle coming out of the inn. Like I used to. Yeah. Anyway, it's strange.
Yeah, of course, it's strange, and even when they're your enemy, it's differently. And to run a man through, it's a difficult thing. There's no shame in struggling with that.
It's a bit different from the one with magic, but I could only imagine.
How does magic? It seems foreign. Are you just born with it?
Oh no, I've been studying since I was a child. Brought up with it. I would imagine you have to have some sort of proclivity towards it, but lots of studying, lots of books, lots of memorizing.
Is that true of you as well, dwarf? Stowen, right?
'Tis right. Maybe not as much memorization. By the time you get very far in the clergy, it is most second nature almost. It comes very natural. Just be very patient with your learnings. It will come.
Made more difficult if you're illiterate, let me tell you.
But you can't read.
Of course not. For peasants, we tend the land. Don't need to read to follow orders.
I guess not. Ozeric gets this far off look like he never thought about that ever. At this point, I don't know. It might be worth mentioning if it means anything to anybody. He's wearing his traditional dark gray robes with a separate mantle and hood. And anybody who's lived in Diamond Lake for any length of time knows that is of the cult of Weejas, a specific cult of Weejas that tends to the boneyard. Weejas being the goddess of magic and death, amongst other things. Keeps looking to the sky for sort of spot where Bertrand is. And looks for the clouds where that might be rolling in.
So as the four of you continue along your journey, I would like to get Briley, since you're out in front, keeping an eye on things. You see the curious raven companion of the young wizard apprentice flitting about sometimes soaring above, sometimes perched as you round a corner along this treacherous path, waiting. But I'd like you to go ahead and give me some sort of a tracking. I know you, as a ranger, have some tracking abilities. So, what kind of flavor would you be looking for? What kind of sentinel-like or investigative type of activity would you be engaging right now as you're walking with your companions?
Yeah, so I do have track, which is a ranger ability. And then I also have, as a half elf, I have bonuses to listen. So I think Briley specifically listens for a lot of her tracking, picking up the changes in the whistling of the wind, the crumbling of stones that you can hear quite far on these passes, any movement, scraping, digging, anything of that sort. She's watching as well and picking up tracks of trampled dirt or broken twigs of the scrub that's so dry it doesn't take much effort at all to break it. But largely her tracking, I think, is sound-based. And as she's walking, she glances over at Ozeric. It's rare for a raven to choose a humanoid companion like that.
Yes, well, I didn't have much choice in the matter. It was a gift from my master, Allustan. I mean, he's bonded to me. I can talk with him and he can talk with me, but yes, well.
Does the raven have a choice in it?
I would imagine so. Master Allustan said that if I step out of line, that the Bertrand might not be so willing to serve. So, as long as I remain true, then he should be a stalwart companion.
That's right. I'm here to keep an eye on things, on the boy.
Jeez,
you hear the voice come out of the raven's mouth as it's perched on a scrub brush.
Well, isn't that interesting?
I'm still getting used to that.
Aderon has half drawn his longsword towards the raven. This is the first time a bird has spoken to him. He's glances over at Ozeric and then back at the bird.
It's okay. He's supposed to be speaking. He's not possessed or anything like that.
More of the magic.
Yes, as it were. Bertrand, earn your keep, would you? Could you scout ahead a bit and see if there's anything laying in wait for us?
And have you earned your keep today, Ozeric? Walking about?
This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Walking towards my destination.
I see. To answer your question, good ranger, I am bonded to this one. But no, I didn't have much of a choice in the matter. And then he alights from the brush and flies off down the trail.
There's a thoughtful look on Briley's face as she turns back out towards, kind of up towards the hills. So it depends, my role. It is a primary attribute. That's a 12 for most things, but when concerning humanoids or giants, it's a 14.
Okay, and you have a 12. Did you add your level?
I did not add my level, so that's
Okay.
a 15. And I also did not add my listening bonus, if you will allow that.
I will.
Which
Absolutely.
will be 17 or 19, depending on whether or not
total.
it's humans or not.
Yep. Okay. That is
And there's
a
a lot
very
of
good
information
roll.
I can get from it.
You hear the wind blowing. You hear the call of canyon wrens echoing across the canyons and up. It's a beautiful song, something that is characteristic of this environment. You hear the expected crumbling and sloughing of stone and rock as it slides down these fragile, geologically fragile peaks. Certainly there are different perspectives on the passing of time, and these Cairn Hills are ancient, but nevertheless they too rise and fall as if the breath of man or elf just on a much different timeline. Give me a D6 roll, please, Briley.
Absolutely. Well, I dig out a D6. I can determine number. I can determine are they wounded, exhausted, carrying heavy objects, or wearing armor. I can even determine if there's a spellcaster in the group. That's a 4, just by their tracks.
You got to have by their tracks. I was like, by listening? That's pretty good. I mean, I guess if they're reciting a spell.
Reciting spells, murmuring, I can hear the clink of armor, that sort of thing.
All that good stuff. All right, what did you roll for the D6?
4.
4, okay. Okay, you listen, and you hear all these things that I mentioned, and then you hear ahead of you the voice of a man speaking. One voice, one man traveling alone, as your half-elven ears inform you, carrying a heavy load, breathing heavy, perhaps, to give that information away. Perhaps not more than 200-300 yards from your location. Appears to be, yes, now that you listen a little bit longer, heading in your direction.
Briley raises a hand, not for the party to stop, but to slow down. And a little quieter than she has been talking. There's a traveler ahead, somebody alone, which is odd for this area. Carrying a heavy load of some sort, seems out of breath. We should come upon them soon.
Should I see if I can get a better look?
If you're able to do that, it wouldn't hurt.
I'm gonna stop
Check for an ambush as well.
I'm just gonna stop dead and concentrate. And by concentrating, I'm opening up a line of communication between me and Bertrand, and to see through his eyes.
While that's going on, Aderon will kind of step forward and just kind of take the bridle of the pack animal that's pulling the cart, and kind of just be at the ready, kind of slowing down the cart a little bit.
Okay. As you slip into this still very new to you and strange perspective, as you start to peer through the eyes of Bertrand, who is flying ahead of you.
It's my
on the
third time
path.
doing this.
The third time, it's disorienting. You get a little dizzy. Give me a Constitution check. And this is for you a prime, which is good.
It is.
Yep. Given that it's your third time, your target here is going to be a 12.
That is a 10 on the die plus stuff. I think I did.
Your level, so it would get you above a 12. Okay, so you manage to not let the dizziness kind of overtake you as you transition into this view, and you see this sort of perspective of a low flight along the path, and coming around a ridge line and perching up on a rock outcrop, just looking down as a man walks up the trail, heading in a northerly direction as you're heading south.
With my eyes closed, I describe him, everything that I can see. I'm seeing this through a Bertrand's eyes, which means I'm seeing it through his enhanced vision.
He appears to be an older man. His weathered and sunburnt skin atop his head, where his hair is receded substantially, long, sort of scraggly brown and gray hair. He carries a satchel around his shoulder that appears to be almost bursting at the seams. He has a tome in his hand as he is walking, and he is talking to himself. And I do believe Bertrand has enhanced vision.
Yeah.
This doesn't really give any additional information. It just looks like a man walking alone down a road.
Does the tome have a title?
Give me an intelligence check for Bertrand.
That's an 11 on the die. I'm not sure what his intelligence would be. But if I'm seeing it, wouldn't it be me?
I think he uses your
Yeah, he uses my staff
observation. I'm pretty sure. I don't really know exactly how it works, but that sounds fine to me. For this particular application, you can see that there is actually no title upon the book at all. It appears to be a journal.
Okay.
Yep.
I described exactly what you said to my party. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, it just seems an old man might not be necessary to be that wary. All
by himself in the Cairn Hills?
Not paying attention. He's either foolish or he knows what he's doing.
may have wandered this road many a time, but I guess we'll leave it to you all. But at least you, Briley, been a bit more experienced with it, but no need to jump to conclusions too quickly, I hope.
I agree with Briley. I assume everything is a danger in these hills, especially if it's alone.
That is the best way to stay alive, she says as she slings her bow off her shoulder. Not drawing an arrow yet, but just having it in her hand as she walks.
What are the rest of you doing as this is happening, as Briley seems to be preparing for something? This conversation is going on.
Is the traveler visible yet to like me up at the front of the...
Not yet.
I know it was by like the birds, not yet. Okay.
Yep.
I continue to just kind of walk along the pack animal. I haven't drawn my longsword or anything. Just kind of keeping an eye out for somebody up ahead.
Okay. And Ozeric?
I think I probably at this point tried to get as much detail as I could from that. I couldn't see what was inside his pack, his bursting.
No, it's closed. It just looks full.
Okay. Yeah. Does it look like rocks, or does it look like it could be going to tell anything from the shape of the stuff that's pressing up against the leather or the canvas?
It doesn't look like it's a heavy burden necessarily, so probably not rocks, I guess I would say.
Okay. I just mentally communicate to Bertrand to sort of keep an eye behind and around this guy. This seems suspicious.
Okay. And Stone?
Stone will prepare a shield at the very least. No need to draw the warhammer quite yet, but play with the beard and a couple of the rings as continue along.
Okay. Not more than 10 minutes pass, and you hear the voice now louder. Yes, of course. And that was... Yes, I do recall. It's good. And you see this man walk around the corner of the outcropping, and he is as described. He's got this dusty robe. His face is sunburnt. It looks as though he has some dried blood on the top of his head. At first glance from you, Stone, it doesn't look as though he has a severe head injury or he's not bleeding from it, but there is a noticeable dried blood on the top of his head as he carries this satchel and this book, and he looks up and he says, "By the gods! Travelers, hail and well met. I haven't seen anyone for a day. And where do you travel to? I'm sorry, my name is Theravents. Brother Theravents. Do you have any water, by chance?"
What brings you to this place in this state, Brother Theovan?
I would be more happy to tell you that with a sip of water, by the gods' graces, if you will.
I think my companion Stone has some...
Here, good brother, come.
Good dwarf, thank you so much. And he takes the water skin from you and just starts to pound it. And then he, thank you, good sir. You are kind. Yes,
Do you have yet your own water skin?
The skin I carry gives no water, as it were. It's empty.
Pass it over, if you will. You do have yet a bit of ways to go.
Yes, here you may see it. And you look at this water skin, and it's this old cracked leather. It's got a cork in it that's falling apart. But he hands it over to you. Thank you for your generosity, my friends. Yes, Brother thereabouts, I am a bit of a scholar, I guess, a studier of the cairns and the hidden things here in the Cairn Hills. As you may or may not know, there are many strange things hidden amongst these treacherous peaks. And well, I have made a bit of a life of my own of cataloging them and writing notes about them.
You are out here alone?
Oh, yes, I come out here often alone. There are a few that I can entice to join me, as it were. I don't know if it's the company or the terrain.
Not many are keen on grave robbing, Riley says as she continues to scan the hills.
Grave robbing? Well, no, my dear. There's nothing like that at all. I am a chronicler of sorts. Let me show you. And he opens his journal, and you can see that it has notes. It has maps. There are rubbings and etchings of different monuments and things that he's found. He reaches into his pack and he says, just trinkets that have been found. And you can see there's like a broken piece of rock that has been carved, but it's broken and it's really indecipherable of what it might be. I just wander and then I find things, but no grave robbing for me. That's a dangerous business. And well, as you can see, I am prone to my own bit of danger. And he reaches and touches his head and then looks down. Meh. Flicks the dried blood off of his hand. And for you, 4 travelers and a beast of burden with a wagon. Where do you head to? The Mistmarsh, then?
I think we'll keep that information to ourselves, Brother Theobald, if that's okay.
Didn't mean to pry, young master. I simply was curious. Like I said, I don't meet a whole lot of people here. Although there are a group of folks that you might meet down the road a bit at Shank's Rest. In fact, I was there last night.
And they're notable because...
I guess I'm not sure.
Okay.
How is the road ahead of us?
Well, if the weather holds, the road should be clear. Heavy rains could bring treacherous conditions, certainly. As you may or may not be aware, there are many rock slides that affect the route to the south, especially as the trail grows steep as it descends towards the marsh. But if it's the marsh that you're heading to, beware the lizard folk. Yes, the lizard folk have been a nuisance, more so as of late.
I would know that as part of the garrison, correct?
Yeah, give me an intelligence check. We'll make this just a straight up check. A 10 is your target.
That again is a 2.
Okay.
Save it up.
You have heard of lizard folk. You have heard the stories. We'll say that with that roll, you don't have any firsthand experience with like lizard folk, but you have heard plenty in the training that's been provided to you. Even with a 2, you recall things about their sort of primitive societies, their nature of savagery in the marshes. But you also know from the information that's provided to you, be it true or not, by the garrison command, that in the past couple of years at least, many of the tribes of the lizard folk living in the Mistmarsh have been disrupted, disbanded, beaten, run out. That's about what you know.
I think I just nod along with the guy. I'm trying to keep up with him flicking through his journal pages of journals that I can't understand any of. And I'm just like bewildered by everything going on.
So you don't have any issues with the goblins in the Cairn Hills?
But I do my best to stay away from the goblins as best I can. Have you seen any goblins around here? We should be careful, I suppose.
I mean, not in many weeks, but...
He sits down on the side of the road and takes off these worn leather boots. And you can see that his toes are like busting out of the front of them. And he unlaces one and pulls it off, and he like dumps it out as he's talking to you, and rocks fall out of it, a bunch of pebbles and sand and dust. And that's when you get a really good look at the top of his head, Stone. And you can see that there is what appears to be like an infected abrasion, possibly based on the work that you have done over the last weeks, months in Diamond Lake. You would probably guess that he got hit on the head with a rock or fell, something of that nature.
Good brother, the Theovents, might I take a look at your wound?
Oh, this old thing? I believe it stopped bleeding, at least.
Right, but stopping bleeding is not always good as well. Just stay as you are. It's a perfect height for me to take a look. I would like to attempt, some kind of medicine-y type check to see how it's doing, if I might have something with me that would be able to, clear up the infection a little bit, possibly.
Okay, well, you have a couple of things that you can do. You certainly have some bandages, so you could use a bandage on this fellow if you wanted to help him regain some hit points. I believe you may have some. I'm hoping to God that you have some healing capabilities as a cleric, because you're going to need it.
Yes.
But if you want to just do like a straight up, like more of like an investigatory check to sort of assess what's going on. Is that what you're thinking first?
Assessment first, and then would use some bandages and kind of try to speed along his healing a little.
Absolutely. Give me an intelligence check. Make sure that you add your level as well to this roll.
Come on, Avre. Ooh, dirty 20.
Hey, all right. Yeah, very good. Yeah, it looks as though he either slipped and hit his head, something hit him on the head, but it's more significant than he's letting on. Not that he's hiding anything from you. With your wisdom, you don't suspect that, but that he's just not really that aware of it. He seems a little, just based on his demeanor, not confused, but a little absent-minded.
I'll take my second water skin, the one he hadn't fully drank, and kind of help to clean the wound a little, kind of patch him up a bit. Sorry, it's still might be a bit cold and damp for you, but this does need a bit of attention.
Oh, you are too kind, Master Dwarf. Yes. It stings just a bit as he reaches up, and then he pulls his hand away as you're working on it, and you clean it. You clean it up. You can see that there are sort of like some inflamed redness around the wound. I mean, if there were stitches available, stitches would be good, but a bandage would probably be pretty helpful.
Yep, I'll definitely spend a bandage to heal him or patch him up a little bit.
Okay. While this is happening and Stone is helping this traveler, what are the rest of you doing? Briley, let's start with you.
Briley is standing a few paces off from the group, watching the hills, watching the road. This is, a great example of the kind of distraction that bandits tend to use on these passes. So she's keeping an eye out so that we aren't caught unaware, just in case this isn't actually a scholar. At this point, I think she's leaning towards betting that he is indeed who he says he is. Otherwise, he's a bit incompetent as a distraction, but still keeping an eye out just to be sure.
Fair. Go ahead and give me a wisdom check for an awareness of sorts. So if you have something that you want to add to that, in addition to your level, please do.
I'll add listen.
Okay.
I don't think... Yeah, listen.
Okay, so being prime and being very specific to what you're trying to do, go ahead and add that in. The target is going to be a 14 for this.
Okay. So it's the stat modifier.
Yes.
Plus level, plus
level.
my plus 2. Okay.
Yep.
So I got 14 exactly. Does that?
Okay. Yeah. Meet or beat. Absolutely. That's
Awesome.
great. Yep. So you listen intently and you hear again the harmonious, beautiful call of the canyon wren. You can hear other birds calling from the distance, maybe a hawk crying. With your elven background and your attunement, you can almost hear the small marmot-like rodents that are scurrying about just off the trail, hiding amongst the rocks as your presence has sort of disturbed their natural patterns along this trail. But you hear no threat. You hear no voices, no shuffling of boots, no clanking of metal, anything of that, even though you are, and especially because you are on kind of high alert, it seems like right now.
I think she relaxes a little bit at that, but still keeps an eye out while tuning in a little more towards this conversation.
Okay. How about Ozeric? What are you doing while the bandaging is happening?
I think Ozeric is taking his cues from the ranger and is also on high alert, especially having been in the Cairn Hills and fought goblins here before. He had asked Bertrand earlier to sort of look further beyond the man. Does he report back anything?
Yeah, he eventually flies back in and just perches nearby and just looks at you and just says, Nothing else that I could see.
All right, well, I guess I've seen some strange things, and this is just another one of those strange things.
I mean, you wouldn't be concerned of the goblin horde that's climbing up the slope right now, would you, mate?
Right, that's very funny, Bertrand.
Had you for a moment, though.
Just a moment.
And Aderon, this is all happening.
Yeah, I think Aderon is up next with Stoen as he's working on the wound, hand just resting, relaxed on the hilt of his blade, kind of looking at the head wound.
Stoen, do you think he's concussed? Confused, maybe? He seems a little confused. I've seen other militiamen when they are hit in the head.
I'm right here, you know.
I just kind of give him a smile.
How bad is it?
Should be just fine. I believe a little bump on the head. I might want to get it looked at in town, but
Oh, town. I don't intend to return to town anytime soon. I took a
You're not
spill.
headed to town.
Oh, no. I'm on a bit of an expedition, an adventure, if you will. There are many.
You're out of water and your pack is full of findings.
Yes, but there are springs afield, certainly.
I think he's concussed, Stoen.
He rummages around in his bag and he pulls out what appears to be a small piece of parchment with a map of the terrain, and you can see that he has a couple of the springs that are mapped out. He says, I know this area very well, actually. You know what? For your trouble and because of your concern, Master Militiaman, here, take it. It's be my pleasure to provide you with this.
He takes the map, clearly holding it the wrong direction. I just kind of like look at it as if it's...
Oh, no, he takes it and he's like, turn it, and there you go.
I hand it over to Stoen.
So maybe I shall hold on to that, good brother. Thank you. If we might help you along your journey, we can also refill your water before you go.
Blessed you are. Thank you, friends, good friends. Again, it is so fortuitous that I ran into you. In fact, for the trouble And he reaches back into his pack and he pulls out another scroll, parchment that's all wrapped up. And he pulls out and he says, "This is a rubbing I took off of one of the cans itself. Quite beautiful. It struck me as something important. I shall return to it someday. So here, take this." And he rolls it back up. Does anybody try to take a look at it before it's rolled back up?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. I was thinking Ozeric might have a keen interest.
Does it look like the rubbing that I took?
It does not look like the rubbing that you took. It is very different.
Okay.
It does not have sort of the characteristics of the Vati artwork or calligraphy.
Sure.
It's different. Give me an intelligence check. And if you have, I don't know if you have anything that would help you with this, spell or otherwise, but your target will be a 12 on this one. This shouldn't be very hard for you.
Intelligence. At 14 on the die.
Okay. You take note of it, and as it's being rolled up, you get a sense that there's something. You see a pattern in the rubbings that reminds you of something arcane, and then it's rolled up. It's like you don't get a great look at it, but he kind of opens it, kind of shows it, and then he rolls it up and says, "Take it. It could be a nice piece of art for your wall."
I sort of look at Stone. Is he handing it to Stone?
Yeah, he hands it to Stone.
Stone, would you mind?
Of course, Oz, a bit of a. Have a little task to do anyway, and we'll pass it over, and after that we'll have we'll find a quick, like, holding the parchment, we'll try to tuck it away quick, and then we'll actually take the used and empty water skins and cast Create Water to refill my own and his, and kind of as the one the one water skin kind of continues to spill out some water. Anyone else need a top off quick? You can technically fill up like 12 water skins worth of water. So
oh my God.
Adron, of course, pulls out his just kind of bewildered by this water skin just pumping out water like a hose. And he fixes it. He's interesting.
I mean, if you're offering, sure, I'll take some.
Of course. And now you, good brother, shall make it well past, hopefully, your next spring trip.
Your generosity is unrivaled, Master Dwarf, and your companions as well. I was very fortuitous to meet you on this journey, and I think this means a good omen for me in my discoveries. Yes, often to the hills I shall go. Where I end up, nobody knows. I wrote that myself. Thank you. And he stands up with a big bandage, pretty white bandage on his head. He's dirty. He hoists his satchel back around his shoulders and says, "I wish you the best in whatever journeys you are on, good friends. Perhaps we will meet again."
Farewell, and do consider going back to town and resting.
Oh, yes, of course. Eventually I will rest these feet and maybe buy some new boots if I can find some work.
Please do take care of yourself, and may the patience of Blared continue to be with you on your journey.
Good day.
Watchful eye of Istis on him.
And he just kind of saunters up the trail away from you guys, going in the opposite direction of your travel.
Well, it sounds like our destination is not too far ahead.
He would have passed a spring on the way. It's surprising he didn't notice it.
Did you see his wound on his head? I don't think he's quite in his right mind.
I think you left some of it on the trail.
Is what we find a bit of a wound, but as you questioned why folk may be out and about alone, it might just be him and his eccentricities.
Or he ate his companions.
With that, I tug on the mule and start moving the cart.
Ozeric has been through some shit.
some of the necromancy coming through. Sorry.
All right. So you guys continue on, having met this individual. You have a map that appears to show some of the springs that might lay in the hills around the pathway that you're traveling, which may or may not be of use to you at this moment. But you have that map nonetheless. I think I don't know who's going to take that into their possession. It doesn't matter immediately, but keep note of that. You also have this rubbing that is quite beautiful and quite interesting to some of you.
When we take a break, I'm going to examine that closely.
Well, it just so happens that as you travel what remains of the day, you see a way station that appears on the crest of a low rise. A squat stone building huddled against a mossy hillside. A weathered sign over the door, painted boot with a nail through it, swinging in the evening breeze. The windows are glowing as the sun is setting behind you. There is a lean-to stable off to the side that shelters right now 2 horses and a mule. A pile of cut wood stacked against the outer wall, stacked quite neatly, as it were. Smoke rising from the chimney. And what's best, the enticing scent of dinner, food that wafts forth to meet you.
Oh, that smells really good. This is much better than the Gavot Fort.
Seems our fellow companions might actually be chefs. Once we're within earshot, Briley will give out a double whistle that I think rangers use as they come close to waypoints.
Have you been here before, Briley, do you think?
Probably. It's been probably a year or two, but she's been through this area.
Okay. I think you will know the proprietress of this place as you approach, or at least you think if they're still here, that could bode well or ill, depending on how you left things last time. But you give a whistle, as is your tradition. As you approach the stable, I imagine, Aderon, you take care of the mule.
The pack animals. Yeah.
Yep. So you have a mule that you bring to some hay. There seems to be a bundle of hay there. Maybe you brought some. You probably brought some of your own actually in the wagon. And it doesn't take you long to get things squared away there as your companions move towards the door. Before entering, or do you have anything else you'd like to do besides enter this establishment?
I tell Bertrand to just sort of hang out on the roof and keep an eye out, if you would.
Stowen will pass off the map possibly to Briley as one most known of this area.
Glancing at it, does it look accurate?
Give me an intelligence check. Let's see how well it lines up with what your knowledge is. This will be just a really easy check, so 10 is going to be the target.
Okay. Because it was given to us by a man with a head wound. So
yeah,
head wound, Harry.
Fine.
I don't know if I get any bonuses to this, but that's an 11.
You can add your level. Basically gets added to most things.
Okay.
Anyhow, that's well over what you need. It looks as though even the contours that he has drawn to depict the ridge lines and the peaks are familiar to you, as if they are an exquisitely rendered depiction of a part of the southern Cairn Hills that you happen to be traveling. You can see the road, you can see on it even a small sketch of Shank's Rest, where you've just arrived. You may know of the springs that are depicted there, you may not, but it seems as though this individual is quite skilled actually as a cartographer.
I think her gait hesitates for a moment as she stops, kind of in surprise. That man was quite talented after all.
Could have learned something more from him.
One of you should hold this just in case we get separated.
It's good point.
I guess I shall. I could hold on to it then.
I'll hand it back, then push through the door.
Okay. As you push through the door, the mule taken care of, happily munching away, unburdened by the wagon that it's been pulling through this meandering, treacherous trail. Yes, Aderon.
While I'm putting away the mule, can I just gander at the other two horses, any of the bridling or anything else about the horses to, maybe making like a wisdom check or something to just kind of get a sense of who maybe the other proprietors at this place are?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sure. Give me an intelligence check.
Intelligence? Okay.
Yeah, an intelligence check as you examine the tack, the harnesses, the horses themselves. I mean, you've been around animals as a man of agriculture to some extent, doing the best you can. You do know your way around animals.
I rolled a 17, so plus level. I think
that's plenty. You get the sense that these animals there's two horses. They seem to be healthy, though they have been perhaps ridden hard, or it's just the terrain of this place that is difficult. They look tired. They have been brushed. They look as though they have feed bags with them, so they seem to be taken care of. But yeah, they look tired. There's also another mule that is probably a resident here. That looks to be old, certainly older than the animal that you have from the garrison. You don't really get any other strong insights from this, other than that these all look to be animals who have worked to get here at some level and in some way.
Perfect. And then I kind of go to catch up with my companions, who I'm sure have already started to make their way in.
Absolutely. Okay, yeah, you guys walk into this simple one-story building. There's a low ceiling. There's thick beams, trees that had to have been brought in from the edge of the Mistmarsh, most likely. Transport, certainly there's nothing of that nature, but it is a stout, well-built, and smoke-filled room. One room, as I mentioned, there's a long trestle table at the center that dominates the space. There's a fire burning at a wide hearth on the opposite end of the building as you enter. A big black iron pot hanging over the fire. This aroma of meat, roasted meat, root vegetables simmering over the fire is almost inspiring after a long day. And especially for some of you who, and I won't speak for all of you, but not all of you are people of means who have access to necessarily, like good meals at every turn. So it definitely is a welcoming discovery. The place looks to be well kept. The floorboards aren't fresh, but they're not rotting. The candles that are perched about, giving off an illumination, are close to stubs. There's a lantern burning near the hearth, and there is a skillfully carved wooden fish nailed to the archway of the door as you walk through on the interior of the building. There are a handful of travelers that are sitting about, and they all look up at you as you enter. Some of them raise some mugs to greet you pleasantly, but not overly friendly. And you see a familiar face, Briley, a woman behind the bar, broad shoulder, her sleeves are rolled up. She is wiping a cup with a cloth in that classic tavern keep scene as she looks up to you and says, "Close the door. You let the heat out. Come on in. In now, will ya? It's a busy night here at Shanks." As you shuffle in one by one, Aderon running up and coming in and closing the door closed. You look about, and the people who have gestured to you and said and sort of nodded, they go back to the table that they're at various spots at the table. There's a couple of chairs by the hearth, and they are well. Find yourself a seat. You be looking to stay here under the eaves tonight. Food, that's and such. We have a cask. If it's ale you're looking for.
Yep, all of the above.
Whatever you have available.
Very well, very well. She looks at you for a moment, Briley, and you know her, Marta Shank, the proprietress of this place. Her dark hair is gray, more gray than it was last time you were here, but she doesn't seem to recognize you offhand, but she does linger for a moment, and then she goes back over to the hearth with grabbing some bowls along the way and begins to fill bowls as you find yourselves a seat. And as you sit down, Stone, you look over next to you at there's just this one big long common table, and there's a gaunt old man who makes the traveler that you encountered look like a robust, mountain man. This guy is skinny and pale, and his beard is patchy. And he just looks over and he says, "Howdy, welcome. Where'd y'all come in from the north?"
From the north, good sir.
Diamond Lake, I suppose.
Be right there.
How is that god-awful place these days?
It's holding together.
Has it burned down yet?
Yeah,
Well, that's an improvement.
very, very fantastic descriptions of Diamond Lake, you two.
Well, I've been sitting here waiting for someone to talk with, and you just came and sat right down next to me, and ain't I the luckiest feller in here? What is that, son?
Glad as well to be sitting next to you here, and it'll be a night full of conversation.
Any word from the road?
It's dusty and rocky, and it's treacherous. What kind of news are you looking for? Oh, you're one of them militiamen. Ah, yes, the Blackwall Keep. Is that where you're headed, then? I can put two and two together. Yes, I can. Furwick is... Still got it. Still got it up here, he does.
Bandits and lizardmen or anything like that?
Bandits, goblins, lizardmen. Yeah, they're all of them. You just got to keep your head on a swivel, whatever that means. And you look capable enough. You got your friends here. You got yourself a ranger. That's good. You're off to a good start. I don't know what this. What's this young fella here?
I look behind me.
Yeah, you.
Speaking to me, I apprenticed to great Master Allustan from Diamond Lake.
Allustan, you say? Is that that wizard up there? That what do they call him? The smartest man in Diamond Lake.
That's what they say. That's what they say.
Boy, to be that smart. I wonder what that's like.
I wouldn't know.
I just nod along with him.
So you're heading to Blackwall Keep, are you? That's an interesting place to go. Down there on the edge of that there Mistmarsh with all them lizard folk creeping around.
Well, we didn't actually say we were going to Blackwall Keep, but if we were, why would that be so interesting?
Now, Furwick, leave the travelers alone. They just walked in. Let's get them fed first, at least. And Marta comes over and sets down bowls of soup in front of you. I'll have to apologize right away for Furwick. He is always in need of conversation. But to be fair, she looks over him. He has his uses.
Oh, it's no bother at all. I would be interested to hear what Furwick has to say. Someone of his age.
That's right, Marta. He's interested to talk to me.
Still alive in this area.
Alive and kicking. Yes, he does do a lot of kicking. That is true. but not with that bum foot. Yeah, I got myself a case of the gout. That's right. I don't get around too easy anymore. This damn gout.
Well, as my mother said, always listen to the man who's been on the job to the old age, the ripe old age that you are, because they know how to get the job done.
You hear that, Marta? A little respect for the old timer every once in a while would be nice. Yes, of course, Furwick. Ales, we have a cask. There's just a bit left. It's been busy, and the supply hasn't arrived yet. Ales? Yes, of course.
Yeah, sure. I'll take a nail.
She walks off to the cask that's over on the side of the room and grabs a couple of mugs that she was just washing and starts filling them up. You look around and you can see Furwick sitting right next to Stone. Like, basically, he's got his arm around him now. He's starting to really get into this. He's made some new friends. You look down the table and you can see that there are two young women that are sitting. They seem to be fairly well dressed. Your instinct, Aderon, as you survey the room, would be that they are the owners of the two horses, just based on sort of their appearance here in this place. And then there is another fellow, a half-orc, young half-orc, that is tending the fire, and he walks out and brings more firewood in, perhaps a hand here at Shanks. He comes up to you as this conversation is happening with Furwick. He says, is the wagon and the mule yours, sirs, ma'am?
Yes, that's correct. They are the garrisons, yes. From Diamond Lake.
Very well. We'll need them watered and...
If you don't mind, not too much trouble, yes. Water, food is all they need.
Furwick pipes up. Well, they do charge a little bit for that, boys. You can't get nothing for free around here. Isn't that right, Grub? And the half-orc, young half-orc is like, That's true. Nothing's free in this world anymore.
You wouldn't expect it to be.
That's all right. I think we have enough coin. Yes, if you wouldn't mind caring for the animal.
Very well, sir. Thank you, sir. He's kind of pretty deferential as he kind of bows a little bit, and he sees that you have the insignia and the heraldry of the garrison, and I think that brings a sense of deference to your station, which he doesn't know like where you are in the hierarchy of the thing, just knows that you're more important than he is, although he is the one that waters and feeds the horses.
Just barely.
Yep.
Just barely.
You've got embroidery on your clothes.
A couple of mugs of ale are brought down, and Furwick starts. Yeah, they say down south there's a mad druid mucking about in the marsh. Something about the old faith and ghouls and such. I don't buy it, but it's a rumor's coming out. I think the bigger concern is the lizard folk. Them lizard folk are getting they're getting mighty antsy, as it were. Getting a little organized, as it was, which ain't too common among their kind, being lizard folk and all. Hot damn! I don't say you'd buy an old man an ale, would you? He got his arm around Stone, just kind of squeezing him tight. What do you say, friend?
Oh, of course, as long as I can ask a few more questions throughout the evening.
Oh, ask away! Your wish is my command. Keep the ale flowing, and I'll talk all night, my friend. Woo! Bring another round! He yells out to Marta. She just looks over and shakes her head.
Stone would be questioning him on like a bit of his background, and even maybe trying to eke a bit of unique knowledge about something he used to do, hobbies, professions type thing, and kind of be prying a bit into his background.
Okay. Let's do a charisma check just to sort of see what level of information you end up. It'll be successful because he wants to talk, but let's see, what level of information that he will provide.
Am I adding my level to this?
Add your level, yes.
Okay.
And the target for this is going to be a 12.
16.
Okay, very nice. Okay, so as you're talking to Furwick, he begins to talk about his past and the years that he spent as a riverboatman along the Sellington River, which all of you would know that is far to the west on the opposite edge of the plains of Greyhawk. It's a river that flows from the Free City itself, although probably none of you have been to the Free City. It flows from the Free City down to Hardby and enters into Woolly Bay. It is a river of commerce, and so he tells some wonderful anecdotes about his adventures on the river, river pirates and such. And he pulls his pant leg up, and you can see his foot is just swollen. The gout has turned his foot into like a water balloon. But he pulls his pant leg up, and he's got a big scar on his leg. He's like, yeah. They almost cut it off. They did. That was the riverboats pirates. And then this one, he pulls up his other leg, and you can see there's like bite marks around his calf. He's like, yeah, they almost got that one too, but that was on account of the alligators and whatnot. He goes on and on like this about his adventures in his past. How he ended up here, he said he just wandered when he was fired, and he ended up here. And he tries to make himself useful around Shanks, although once they hired the half-orc stableman, the young half-orc, he's had less and less to do, but he can't seem to muster up the wherewithal to leave, and mostly on account of his gout. He talks a lot about his gout.
I drink a little less.
Well, I'll keep them going. That's fine.
While this is happening, is anybody else doing anything else of note?
So there are two women who are dressed finer than the other people here. Is there a ranger accompanying them? Do I see another ranger here or no?
You don't see any other ranger. This is pretty much it. And both Marta and Furwick mentioned that I think Marta actually mentioned it, and he probably did too, but that this is kind of a big crowd for one night at Shanks. You look around, and it's not a big place, and the sleeping arrangements are just like throw out your bedroll over in the corner kind of thing. It's not a fancy place where there's beds or anything like that. But yeah, you look at these two women, and they're sitting eating bowls of soup. They do appear to be slightly better outfitted. Their gear is a little bit nicer looking, although dusty and worn. They look like they've been on the trail for a little while, but they don't look like rangers. You don't get a sense that they are rangers. You get a sense that they have different reasons for being out. But they're sitting down. They kind of, as you're taking note of them and looking over, one of them looks up. The woman with long blonde hair that's tied back in a ponytail and then knotted going down her back, and she kind of looks up at you, and then looks back to her meal.
And when catching her eye, Bradley, I think, nods and kind of tips her drink in acknowledgement in her direction. If I get a chance later, I may speak with them, because it's interesting to see more well-dressed people out here without an escort. That doesn't happen as often, so that certainly piques Bradley's attention, but she does not want to interrupt their dinner right now.
Okay. All right.
I think Ozeric is doing two things. He's listening in, or three things maybe. He's listening in on the conversation with the old man at Stone. He is practicing communicating with Bertrand every once in a while, quietly in my head. And he is lastly, I think, noticing what Briley is doing, watching her face, watching her eyes, and it kind of leans over towards Briley and says, you have a look like my friend Goldie got every once in a while. She always had my back, and she had an eye for when things were about to go down, if you know my drift. You noticing something like that?
I think I understand where you're coming from. Not anything like that, but those two women, they're dressed far nicer than anyone else in here, but they don't have an escort, a ranger, a guide of any sort.
This seems very busy for a road in the hills.
It does. Especially for this area. I haven't been through here in quite some time, but every other time I've passed through here, it's been dead. One other person at best.
No, I don't know if I like that.
It is odd. I don't know if... I mean, none of them seem like merchants or anything of the sort. It wouldn't hurt to stay alert. It never does. But places like this are usually neutral. I've seen merchants share it with bandits before. These places are important to the roads, to the passes, and they have to stay like that or else travel won't survive out here.
I'm sitting nearby you all. I lean over as well.
The horses were ridden pretty hard. Perhaps they moved quickly. If unaccompanied, it's probably best to move as swift as possible, I imagine. Cover distance quickly, but the horses are weary.
Interesting. I didn't see heavy horse prints on the way. They must have come from the south.
That's what I wonder as well.
So they're running away from something that we're going towards.
I don't know if running away or just trying to get to the next safe space would make sense, especially if unaccompanied.
I'll chat with them once they finish their dinner. But you all wanted adventure. It seems like we're walking into one.
Who said that? I didn't want adventure. I have plenty of that last month.
Adventure, you say? But let me tell you about the time that I fell off a horse on the way to a fair. And the Furwick goes off onto this long story, basically telling it straight to Stone, but loud enough for everybody in the place to hear, of course. And we can jump forward a little bit, like if you want to have some quick conversations with some of the people. I know we're getting kind of late in the session, so why don't we do that? I know at least, Briley, you want to have a conversation with these two women. Anybody else who wants to be involved in that can be. Why don't we do this? Let's go around the table, and everybody can kind of tell me what they want to do, and if they want to do it with, in collaboration with others, that's fine too. But it sounds like at least Briley is going to communicate with these two women. How about Stone? Stone, is there anything you want to do besides shoot the breeze and keep Furwick, fully inebriated with more mugs of ale?
Can keep him occupied. Probably try to, as much as I can, listen in on the others, bump in on occasion, kind of keep him going. But just listening in for the most part.
Okay. All right. How about Ozeric?
I think Ozeric at this moment is putting on his face. He feels uncomfortable around strangers. He's realizing the first time that how much he sort of depended on people that he sort of grew up with and knew for many years. And to be out on the road with strangers, surrounded by even more strange strangers, is making him extremely uncomfortable, but he's trying not to show it. And so he is sort of keeping an eye on everything that he can. I don't imagine there's anybody that has anything that would proclaim them to be an arcane caster or anything like that in this room.
No,
Okay.
But you do recall that there is something of interest in your possession in the form of a rubbin that you could take a look at potentially.
I will, besides sort of keeping an ear out on the conversations and seeing what Briley is going to do with those two ladies, I'm going to pull that out sort of when there's a lull and sort of, since I'm not actually talking to anybody in specific, take that out and get into my own comfort zone, and that is just stuffing my head into some sort of research.
Okay. All right, we'll come back to that in a second. How about Aderon?
I think after Aderon finishes his meal, finishes his ale, he'll approach the barkeep or the kind of keep of the place, and he'll just say,
You are keeping a militiaman of the garrison, and I don't know if it's worth much, but while I'm here, Your dwelling is under my protection, as is what the garrison does.
Well, you're quite kind, sir, and I appreciate the offer, and it is well taken. We have been lucky to avoid any sort of trouble, but we are in the wilderness, and anything could happen at any time. Mostly it's just strange people showing up and telling strange stories of things that if I hadn't bought this place and wasn't so tied to it, perhaps I'd be off. Nevertheless, thank you for being here.
Thank you for giving us a roof. That's much appreciated.
And I'll make my way and kind of roll out my bedroll. And then I'll actually sit and pull out just like, it's really simple, like probably some like little necklace thing of like beaded necklace that's like a prayer necklace to like Heronius and just kind of be giving a prayer as others go about their business.
Okay. All right, we will, let's jump over back to Ozeric. Ozeric, as you pull up a chair near the hearth, the firelight and a bit of the lamplight is really what you're after, to be able to gaze upon this parchment as you unravel it. You do get an instinct that there is something important about this rubbing that perhaps the traveler didn't know, or perhaps did. You obviously don't know what their intents were, but you have some training in the arcane. How would you like to approach whatever this study is of yours?
I think Ozeric is going to look at the rubbing and see if he can equate what he's seeing to any runes that he might be familiar with, any like magical runes that he might be familiar with. Anything that he's seen before in the cave that we explored, the Whispering Cairn. I think that's where we're going to start.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an intelligence check. The target is going to be an 18.
Oh boy. All right. You know what? I'll use my hero point.
All right. Thank you, Scottish Jeff.
That's a +1 to that, right?
Yep, and make sure you add your level as well.
Yep. It's still only a 16.
Okay. Close, but not quite there. What you do get from that roll, it's not terrible. You don't recognize any of the markings necessarily. This looks ancient. It doesn't look similar to the decorative etchings that you took from the Whispering Cairn. We've established that. It gives you a sense that there is a pattern or a formula that is presented upon this rubbing, but it's just unclear. With the 16, it's unclear, but there is arcane information here. You're sure of it.
All right. Consider it some more, but if once I can't suss anything else out of it, I'll just sort of roll it up, and I find that sometimes if I don't think about things come to me. So I'll just sort of roll it up and go back to my ale and checking out what everybody else is doing in the bar.
Okay.
And this is when I realize that I'm so dirty from the road that I sort of just look at myself and go, maculatus, and clean myself with prestidigitation. I'm sparkly clean.
The most useful spell in all of spelldom. All right, let's jump over to Briley. Briley, how do you approach these two women?
I think she grabs 2 drinks from the barkeep, from Marta, and carries them over and sets them down on the table, like not directly in front of them, but like as an offering, and sits down. Those are fine horses out in the stable.
The blonde woman looks up at you. Thank you for the drink.
I was hoping you could give us some news from the road to the south.
Yeah, sorry. We've traveled long today. This is Bran, You look down, you're like standing kind of above them as they've kind of turned. And the blonde gestures for you to take a seat next to them. The dark-haired woman is kind of a short cropped hair. She is certainly, she has like leather armor, pieces of leather armor on her, not fully armored, but she looks capable. You take note right away. She's got a short sword sitting on the bench next to her, sort of like right in parallel to her leg and within reach. She has a dagger in her belt. You take note of that. The blonde woman has a little bit of rosy cheek going on, probably from some of the ale that's been consumed. She says, "This is Bran. My name is Kalia. And yours?"
Briley. I'm a ranger of this area.
Pleasure. You may join us if you like.
Thank you. And I'll sit down.
We are on our way to Diamond Lake. The road to the south was not terribly difficult, but the elevation gain was tough on the animals. Certainly, we were very happy to see Shanks rest.
They look quite tired. Your road north is clear, at least as far as we passed it, but you should take it easy tomorrow.
Yes, we may stay an extra day here just to rest a bit more. We came up from Wavenair, and as you may or may not know, it is a bit of a rugged path once you turn off the main trail that leads to Blackwall to the south.
Absolutely. Did you pass any other travelers, any other rangers in that area?
If we did, we do not know if we did, but there are others, yes. Others that are traveling. Wavenair seem to have been a bit busy, as it were, during our stay there.
Briley will pause for a second and then give a description of her sister, a halfling woman, who would have been in ranger attire very similar to hers.
And how long has it been, do you think, since Vana traveled, generally?
It has been 6 months.
Okay. Give me a D20 roll. This will be a luck roll.
Okay.
We will say that anything above 10 is a affirmative, and then the higher you roll, the more information, perhaps, that they will have.
Is a 19.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All the rolls tonight. That's the one I wanted to roll.
That was the most important one. Kalia kind of looks over at her companion Bron and back to you. Yes, that description is true. A halfling scout of sorts. We saw them in town quite a bit. There's much talk in Wavenear of a hermit. We had traveled there ourselves to seek them out, but sadly, we're not successful. There are others, and perhaps this woman you speak of was there to guide other travelers. She seemed good-natured. I don't recall the name. Did you speak with her, Bron? I do recall a conversation, yes. She was setting out. Could it be Janaquil Valley, perhaps? There are potion makers, alchemists that live in the valley. But that's all we know.
Do you remember when this was?
It couldn't have been more than a fortnight.
I appreciate your information. Be careful traveling north. There are bandits in the area sometimes. We didn't pass any on the way here in the last day, but should be careful. Stay alert. Looks like you can handle yourselves, though.
Oh, yes, we are quite capable. But the warning is noted, and we thank you for that, Ranger Briley.
Is there a reason you're traveling with such haste?
There's some disruption in the Mistmarsh that we do not care to become embroiled in. There's been talk of aggressive attacks both at the edges of Wavenir and elsewhere, even upon the road itself. It's a strange thing, this place. We had not heard of the lizard folk problem, as it were. Where do you travel to? Are you heading south then?
We are to that area specifically. But you're right. It was a problem that not many people spoke of outside of the military, but now it seems to be all anyone is talking about.
It seems strange, the coordination of it all.
Certainly is interesting.
Stone, we'll jump over to you quick as we sort of round things out here. And as you speak more with Furwick and he becomes more, it doesn't take much to get this man intoxicated. He is gaunt, as I said. He becomes very loose-lipped and talks about all manner of things. It appears as though he has indeed spent some time in the Mistmarsh. He talks on and on about the waterfowl that pile into the backwaters in the sloughs of the marsh. Some of the sweetest and richest duck meat in all of the Flyness. And how he has spent an ungodly amount of time trying to live trap them with the idea of perhaps breeding them and starting some sort of small business. But he goes on and on about the duck meat and how succulent it is. He also speaks of the ghouls that he has heard of but never seen himself, warnings that were given to him, driven perhaps by this mad druid that he mentioned before. He gives you a little bit of information about this commander of Blackwall Keep. It appears as though he's also been to Blackwall Keep, Commander Garm, who he hasn't been there for quite some time, but remembers Garm as a kind of by-the-book, straightforward fellow, stern, but not cruel, and that there had been some supply trains that had been traveling from Diamond Lake to the keep that he had been involved in. He had gotten on board with them and gotten paid to bring some supplies there back like a year ago. But that's about all he knows of that.
Stone would question also with his experience of being a river boatsman and whatnot, essentially what to look for in safe passages across waterways and such, as he may have a bit more travel to do where that could come in handy.
If he wasn't so drunk, he'd probably be able to give you some really good information. And perhaps in the morning, if you catch him after he's sobered up a little bit, he might be able to provide you with some additional information. But my friends, we will have to wait and see if that proves true, because we are going to end here for the night. Thank you all so very much for some amazing role play tonight and getting this story kick-started back into the realm of Guild Superior. Thank you all for being here and being part of this. And thanks to everyone who's been hanging out in the chat and helping us fundraise for the ACLU. If you are just tuning in or just jumping in, we are raising money for the ACLU. I put a link in the chat here. Big shout out to Rouge and Scottish Jeff for getting us some momentum tonight. We will be continuing this throughout the month of June and probably into July, I'm guessing, because I know Jose likes to raise funds for the ACLU when we're playing in Faerun, which will be coming up next. So in July, we'll be jumping back into that. But anyways, let's do some quick outros. Then we'll raid into to some friends here online, and then we will go our separate ways. We'll be back next week. Let's go ahead and let's start with Jose. Jose, thank you so much for being part of this, bringing Ozeric back. It's awesome to have sort of that through story of Ozeric kind of being at the core of this continually transitioning party. It's been great.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Dave, for running. This is always a blast, and great to meet everybody and play with you all. I am being kept busy with Realmsbound. You can click on the link and find out about that. That's a collaboration with Ed Greenwood, where we visit places in the Forgotten Realms, flesh out a new place every year. And we've got 4 books coming out this year. First one at the end of this month, which is a little bit delayed, but they wanted to make sure that we get everything just right. So I got art, I got writing in there, and there's a team of artists and writers that are just fantastic that are contributing. So check that out. And yeah, I will be back next time to play Ozeric.
Hell yeah. And he's still alive, which is great, with 7 hit
He's
points.
still somehow still alive.
Still somehow still alive.
Nine, 9 hit points now.
9 hit points with this familiar. Thank you so much, Jose. Let's jump next over to Penborough. Paul, thank you for making time for this and jumping in.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Pembroke or Paul Angelo. I am the co-author of House of Eidolon Cyberpunk TTRPG. That's soon to kickstart. You can check out the link there. You can also back us, pre-launch back us to help us know when to launch and get some exclusive content. Thanks, Dave, for having me be a part. I'm excited to play this soldier, this
Kind of everyman.
And good old family guy, and just it's good.
He's a swell guy.
He's a swell guy. He's just he's a good old salt of the earth kind of guy.
I love how he offers to I'll whatever you need, I'll provide security for this place. I got you. That's my job. Yeah.
It's literally what he does.
Yep. That's great. Thank you so much, Paul. Let's jump over to Ty Thalanos. Thank you for jumping in as well. Last minute, Ty. I really appreciate you being here. It's great to have you.
Always looking for opportunities, and I'm always here for backup whenever you need an extra person to fill a seat. But I am Ty Thalanos, Twitch streamer, TTRPG streamer, variety gamer, VTuber, just online having fun, hanging out, telling stories, and stealing chat's ideas for causing chaos with the party, or filling my own homebrew world that I stream in. So, hope to steal some more ideas from everybody here soon. But tons of fun so far, and excited to keep going with Stolen and what other chaos this group's going to run into.
Another very good-natured character. You know what? This is a stark contrast to the Goldies and the Torbins. Those guys were.
We kind of have like a golden retriever team.
Kind of. Yeah, at least with Aderon and Stone for sure. Yeah. Thank you so much, Ty, for being part of this. Let's jump last, but certainly not least, Anna Maeve. So glad that you're able to be part of this as well. It's been fun getting to know you and playing with you, and I hope we get to do a lot more. But tell us all the great things that you've got going on, because I know your creative juices are always flowing with some great stuff.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to be here as well. I am Anna Maeve. I'm a queer and trans advocate, museum worker, and TTRPG performer, producer, and podcaster. Tonight, I was Briley, but normally on the internet, I am Archival Dust Bunny. You can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky at Archival Dust Bunny. As far as where and when to find me, I'm kind of all over the place. I do a lot of stuff in a lot of places. So follow me on social media to find out where and when you can watch. But just to quick fire a few things off, on Fridays, I'm over on Valdriance for our Animorphs Blades in the Dark campaign. This is our 4th season of trauma and child soldiers, and it's a lot of fun. And then on Mondays, I'm over on High Shelf Collective for Fall of the House of Starfall, which is about a bunch of space royalty teens who have magical powers, who are hiding out on Earth after a coup overthrew their home planet. And of course, if you enjoy magical girls and stories about grief and finding your place in the world, you should check out Bloom and Blight, a Girl by Moonlight, an award-winning Girl by Moonlight actual play podcast following the generations of magical girls who protect Aliva Bay. Our first arc is completed, and it's about a team dealing with grief and how it affects them and how we grow from grief. And then our current arc is about mecha racing magical girls. So if any of that sounds interesting, you find us anywhere you normally get your podcasts, and on Instagram and Blue Sky at Bloom and Blight. And for character and cast information, downloadables, transcripts, and a link to our kind of awesome merch shop with some really cool new merch on it, check out bloomandblight.com.
We should definitely get your link and add it to your little blurb here. If you want to quickly send it to me in the video, I can post it. But folks definitely want to connect with you and should connect with you for all of that great content and just amazing creativity. You guys know me. I'm Dungeon Dave. I get to play games, produce games, and run games here on Guild Superior, and it's an absolute joy, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. I get to be surrounded by beautiful, creative people like the ones you see here tonight. We've had a lot of great storytelling going on over the last year here at Guild Superior, and I am extremely honored to be part of that. And we just finished up a great series with Paul running us in a New Varden campaign that was ridiculously beautiful and tragic. And we also just finished up a very spooky and disturbing Call of Cthulhu game. A lot of other things. All of that is archived over on our YouTube channel, so you can go check that out and dig into some of that stuff. This will be over there as well. All of the stories of Ozeric and his companions from last summer's Summer of Siege are over there. If you want to get caught up on some of the storyline up until this point, please do that. We'd love to see you over there on our YouTube channel. We are also we're really dedicated to the idea that we can be heroic at the gaming table and also in real life. And so we try to do as much good in the world as we can with our creative energy in this beautiful creative community. And so we've got an ACLU fundraiser going on, which I've been talking about throughout the night tonight. If you have the means and you support the continual fight for justice and to protect our rights, the ACLU is a great place to channel some of that energy and some of that financial support. Please check it out. Go over to that link. We have a Tiltify campaign going on. It'll be going on through June and likely into July. And every little bit is helpful. So thanks to those who have already participated. I think we're at almost $1,300 with our goal of $2,000. So slowly but surely we are getting there. Thank you all for being here. We will be back here on next Thursday night for more of our Age of Worms game. We are also going to be in the planning stages for a game Jose is going to be running in July, going back to Faerun in the Dale Lands, playing some D&D. And then I'm excited because I just found out that I get to run a birthday game for GM Shiv, and we're going to be, I'll save that for later, but I'm excited. It's going to be a nice one-shot on a Saturday afternoon. So with all that said, thank you all for being here. Hang out for just a little bit longer. We're going to raid into somebody and try to do some good out there in the world. We need it now more than ever, and we have the power to do it. See you guys later. Take it easy.